Alright, hello and welcome to Ben's OP Game Show, recorded live 3 p.m. Pacific time every Friday, right here, twitch.tv/TheGameFanatics. On this week's show, I'm going to be talking about, let's just go for it, Utawarerumono, Mask of Truth. Despite my just butchering of everything involved with that, really enjoying the game so far. Talk about that, you're on vacation, and everybody's golf. But first, let's dive into something I haven't done too recently, the big story of the week, and that is involving Cuphead. So excuse me, I'm going to be not really looking at the webcam. I'm reading off my laptop here as we talk about Cuphead and all that entails. So Dean Takahashi of VentureBeat stepped into a bit of an internet hornet's nest with a preview of Cuphead he published 2 weeks ago now. It's not even new. The title, Cuphead Hands-On, My 26 Minutes of Shame with an Old-Time Cartoon Game, and the video preview image at the top of it says, Cuphead gameplay, Dean embarrasses himself for 26 minutes. And the article in question is extremely self-aware of the lack of skills on display. It also reads more like a fact sheet than anything tangible. Is it fun kind of reasoning? Which is understandable since he couldn't get past the first level. This brought back the Polygon Doom discussion from last year, and if games journalists are all terrible at games. That's a silly argument. Some are great, some are bad, most are average, just like gamers as a whole. I wouldn't expect Dean to review Cuphead, and he won't be. In the same way, I wouldn't expect someone who's bad at racing games to review Forza 7. But an unskilled player's opinion? That's fine. Opinions can never be wrong, but skill should be noted, especially when it comes to video games. Gaming is the only art or medium that can prevent a person from continuing to enjoy it and experiencing the full work. A poem won't lock away the third stanza because you missed the hidden meaning in the second. A painting doesn't obscure its subject because you didn't appreciate its color composition. A book won't have a difficult passage followed by a reading comprehension test to unlock the next chapter. A movie doesn't hide bonus scenes only for people who happen to notice the secret bad guy from the start. But video games do just that. In fact, it is so common for games to have content locked away behind skill and or time-based challenges. Collecting all the stars in every world to unlock bonus levels, collecting 3 random items and beating an additional optional boss to see the full ending, grinding for 50 hours just to get the best gear to spend 3 more hours in a raid for the chance at an ultra rare exclusive weapon drop. Games do this all the time and we seem to enjoy it that way. But if that is a necessity, is something to think about, but it's not really what's going on here. It's beside the point. The gameplay on display in this Cuphead video is pretty damn shameful. Getting stuck in the tutorial for 5 minutes is absurd. He is still in the tutorial, and I've talked about this for 3 minutes now. Even if Dean was on VentureBeat's Games Beat Decides podcast to discuss this and he said he was messing around, I think it's clear he wasn't really messing around, and the text of the article goes into getting stuck in the tutorial, but doesn't mention messing around either. Also, as another aside, podcast people, can you guys point your webcams at your faces? Alright, can you do an audio test to make sure Dean isn't 20 decibels lower than anyone else and sometimes cuts out when he looks away? Hell, I don't get paid anything to do what I'm doing right now, but you can see how it would make people angry when so-called professionals can't get these basic things right. Anyway, there are a lot of excuses and reasons given by both sides, and I want to address some of them. The excuse that games aren't final, that it's weird to jump into a demo, etc., is somewhat valid. Every game has a different control scheme. You might not be able to hear the game because of the crowd noise. Maybe you're talking to a developer while playing. But I've gone to E3 3 times. This Cuphead experience is not only completely foreign to me, I imagine it is to most gamers as well. Should games journalists have to be good to talk about games? No. It's that simple, no. To review games, maybe, and the reviewer's familiarity with the genre should be mentioned. Almost every time I talk about a Souls-like, I bring up that I've beaten all of them and have the Platinum in Bloodborne. That makes my opinion different than someone who's never played any of them or gave up at the second boss. It doesn't make my opinion better. The opinions are for different people. If you like the Souls games, my thoughts on Neo will be more relevant to you. If you tried Dark Souls and hated it, a noob of the series talking about Neo might be of more interest to you. And honestly, I can understand where the anger is coming from. There's a small but sometimes vocal subset of gamers that apparently I am, I guess, kind of, in some way, a part of. I remember watching footage of Dark Souls 1 from E3. I don't know if it was journalists playing it or just random people on the floor, but seeing these people not locking on for minutes at a time, rolling into attacks off cliffs constantly, I'm still a little bit mad about it. And it's not that hard. Just don't be a moron, please. So I get it. I get being mad. People like to insult players that are bad at Souls games by telling them to get good, and that's stupid and reductive. But honestly, I've watched preview footage of all the Souls games. I remember reading countless reviews of Neo earlier this year, discussing its harsh and punishing difficulty. And all I have to say is, yeah, maybe there is something to that saying sometimes. You need to get good, people. I've seen Outlet X and Outlet Y play the first hour of Dark Souls 3, and it's kind of bad. But then again, I'm a little hardcore about the series. The average gamer is probably closer to what is on display in those previews. And I'm not immune to being downright bad at games. I'm not that great at shooters, really at all. Recently I tried Vanquish, and it made so little sense to me I got a Steam refund on it. I'm still confused as to how people play the game correctly. But again, that's not the same as the Cuphead gameplay. There's another issue with it, and I brought up a similar thing with the Polygon Doom video from last year. Why put this up at all? At first, I thought I'd be mad if I was the developers because, you know, it's not putting it in a good light, but I don't really think they care. Honestly, I'm probably going to pick up Cuphead on release now, and I wasn't before. So again, why upload such a lame gameplay video? The idea of a preview is what to expect from typical gameplay. This is not really typical. The podcast reveals that they all knew the gameplay was almost unusable, but they thought it would be a funny video. And it is. Kind of. Perhaps cut out the embarrassing tutorial part then, or make a 5-minute highlight reel, or have a running commentary track during the gameplay, even if it was recorded afterwards. Then, at least people watching would have some idea of what poor Dean was thinking at the time. To not know people would get upset by this gameplay seems clueless, if not ignorant. In a post from this morning even, Dean admits that he didn't expect this outcome and should have been more aware. I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories, but I want to address this one as well. It almost looks like putting up a super bad gameplay video is on purpose to draw attention. VentureBeat isn't exactly GameSpot or IGN and could actually gain new readers from all this, but what do I know? It's probably not the case. I wouldn't really think so, but it is something to ponder. Right, Zoolander? Go ponder that. You may not need to be good at games to talk about them. Just look at my subpar skills on many things, but I think some level of gaming literacy should be expected, especially when reviews are concerned. And certainly, I don't condone people hating on Dean. That's childish, and it misses the entire point of what's going on. To his credit, in that article I mentioned earlier, Dean wrote an apology of sorts and addressed many concerns. The bulk of what he wrote goes into all the hate he is still currently getting about this gameplay. People suggesting he should be fired for this, and so on. It's lunacy. No. That's not helpful at all. Games should be played for enjoyment, just like all other artistic avenues. Skill has a unique role in that when it comes to games, but it isn't the be-all, end-all. This conversation isn't going to end anytime soon, and I think that's okay. We should all expect a relatively young medium like gaming to have bumps in the road like this, but regardless of how you feel about it, we need to actually talk to each other instead of yelling nonsense and not listening to what the other side is trying to say. You know, like adults. Right now, a lot of gamers are struggling with that very term, gamers. For years, gamer meant something different, but now pretty much everyone plays games and is therefore a gamer. What gamer means to these people, and to me, is closer to gaming aficionado, or more simply, a hardcore gamer. And that's the distinction. Games journalists don't have to be hardcore, they just have to be gamers. That's pretty much everyone now. And again, that's perfectly okay. Hardcore or not, there's going to be gaming content for you. The stuff you don't like, the game previews from a noob who barely can jump off a ledge, it has every right to exist as well. Now I'll go and turn on the chat and see what you're saying, because I see you you talking in here? Yeah, it's totally it. Yeah, okay. Not disagreement. I'm gonna take that. Sometimes I like to do little thought pieces like this. It's fun. The game, to its credit, has always had this really cool look to it, and it used to just be a boss fight game, and they added in these things. I'm willing to bet it is supposed to be really difficult anyway, so you can expect dying. But some of these, it's like when you get hit by the same guy like 7 times, it's a little goofy. All right, let's get into the topics of the week, including everybody's golf, but not just yet. No golf yet. Ba-da-ba-ba. I guess I should look and see if anyone said anything over here. Oh, what's gonna happen? Now it gets nerdy. Now it gets really weeabooey. So hold on. Hold on to your hats here. Oh, I have to change the text. Hold on. Everyone relax. My keyboard is all fucked up. You would think a wireless keyboard would work. You'd be wrong. You'd be dead wrong. Jesus Christ. I'm glad you couldn't see me hunched over my keyboard just trying to punch these stupid letters in because it's so far away from me. Unbelievable. Alright. Oh, it fits perfectly too, the text. Something completely different from Cuphead. I will attempt the name again. Utawarerumono. Mask of Truth. I can say Mask of Truth. That's in English. So this is the third in a series of kind of visual novels with strategy combat, as you're seeing here. And I really have always kind of heard this. It's not a name you forget very easily. So I've heard of these things for, I guess, a while, but maybe not that long. Anyway, doesn't matter. Never played the other two. This is the third one. This is the dramatic conclusion of sorts, or whatever you want to call it. And it's fantastic. I really have been blown away by this game. I don't understand why it's so good. I think it's also part of the problem, which leads to why I like it so much, is the beginning, where there's just a lot of talking. There's a lot of just talking back and forth, anime heads, like a visual novel like you'd expect. Just characters and characters. And the first 2 hours has one strategy fight in it, and then the rest of it is just characters talking, backstory. Let's get everything going. And after that hump of 2 hours of like, oh my god, this is just so many characters, it kind of slows down. It stops introducing new characters and just goes into this war plot that is so fascinating and interesting to me. So basically, the game picks up after the end of the second game. And the end of the second game is you and your team of people. The main people involved are Oster and Haku. Haku's the main character guy. Oster is this general for the king, ruler, god man. And the king, ruler, god man dies. And his daughter, the heir, is poisoned. Oster is framed for this and is captured. Your party member with Haku, your party with Haku and everyone else, goes to rescue Oster and the princess and take them away because they know he's been framed and whatever. In this ensuing leaving the capital city with, you know, her god king's dead now, like there's all these problems. Oster dies. But because of all the problems that would cause, he's a high rank in this military and has a lot of connections. He picks Haku to take up and pretend to be him, Oster, for the rest of his life, or at least the rest of this war, so that they can finish it. And he's pretending to every single person that Haku's dead. But Haku's not dead, it's Oster, and the only person who knows is Oster's sister, Nekone. Now, this is complicated. You can already, I don't even know, I explained it mostly correctly, but this is very complicated. And I'm not even mentioning the 15 other characters that are involved. These other 8 generals of the whatever, I forget what they're called. I have it written down, but the 8 generals of something, and they're like, oh, this is this guy's brother, and that guy's daughter is the princess of this country, and they all have to start it's like Game of Thrones over here. It's anime Game of Thrones, where each family has their own problem, their own history. They're maneuvering about, oh, if we do this military tactic, because now we know we have the true princess. So you reveal that we have the true heir. But the people in the capital have also revealed a fake imposter. And not everyone of that 8 council is dumb enough to fall for it. But they all can't act on it, because if they do, they'll be killed, because the regime is like, all this, it's so goddamn good. I love that stuff. And it does it way, way better than you'd expect it, especially from an anime game like this, where there are goofy innuendos. There are 2 characters that just drapes themselves on you. You don't see anything because the game's just talking still images for the most part. And it's just, here's a bunch of innuendo for 5 minutes, and you're like, all right, anime, we see what you're doing. And that's cute and fine and whatever. And there's, you know, like, you play a card game with this one character and she ends up losing so much and just like losing all her clothes. It doesn't show anything, but it's the anime indulgence of it. It has all that, and then it has this fascinating war plot with also this turn-based combat I haven't even mentioned yet. And what really stuck out to me, now this game's also like 60 plus hours long, and I've played maybe 18, maybe, but even after 5 hours, I was sold. I was 100% sold on this game. I think it's incredible. I don't know why. It's just hitting all the exact things I want. As a big Game of Thrones fan who loves the minutia of Game of Thrones, there's a lot of minutia here. You might be going 2 hours between battles where you're just watching people talk. And that sounds boring, and it can be. Sometimes it's a little long. But for the most part, these characters are interesting. They all have their histories. They all have backstories with each other, because this is the 3rd entry, the final entry. They have all this history from the previous games that I didn't have to sit through. I just get the good shit. I didn't have to deal with all your nonsense and your, oh, Frodo's got to get the ring and then he's got to... No, we're just going and returning the king right now. That's what we're doing. And it's awesome. And it, to its credit, it does not, at least so far, pull that many punches with war. Like, you're lighting people on fire in this cutscene and there's like burning alive. And sure, it's this cutesy anime art style, but it's like, oh yeah, we're burning all the soldiers alive. Oopsies. Like, we gotta be tough, it's war. And there's these scenes that happen that I think the end result of them is to be expected, more or less, but the way it gets there, like, there's this one moment where a character brings out a tamed beast, right? A supposedly tamed beast for you to fight. It's supposed to like come out of its cage and just like wreck shop. And it just turns on its captors and just kills them. And they were important people that were built up. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you fight it. And then that whole scene ends. And then something immediately after that happens that I didn't expect at all, has huge political implications for everything else that's going on with you trying to make a break as this like protected country because you have the true princess. You're in the right, but the people in charge are in the wrong, and they have the big army, and it's like all this. Then there's optics play into this, where it's like, oh, we spread misinformation and now you're losing allies. It's like, god damn, it's so fascinating. And these, I love it. I love the story. I don't want to go into it more. I can't even, because even after 16 hours, I've played maybe 8 of these fights. I'm still so early. It's so good though. I don't know if I'll beat it. I really would like to, but it's so damn long. So she said, but it's really good. And the other good part of it is this turn-based strategy combat. It's not like Fire Emblem. There's no permadeath. There's not you move all your units and then the other team moves all their units. It has a kind of speed gauge that compares all the units' speed. If your speed's higher, you go first. So it might be you move all of your units and then 3 of the other units go, and then 2 of yours go, and then 3 of the other ones go. So you kind of have to pay attention to that. Each attack has different squares it will hit. So some of them will hit the square in front of it, some will hit the squares around it, and some of them will go back further. So you can plan out attacks that way. In addition, each attack has different combo chains attached to it. So it'll be like the first move just hits the enemy in front of you, but then the second move extends it outward, so you'll hit the people around that enemy as well. And then the final one only hits the one in front of you, but it does poison damage. And in addition to all of that, because there's still equipment and skills and other things, in addition to 20 plus characters that you have to remember, there are little Super Mario RPG button presses you have to do. So you've been seeing it pop up here where it's like, oh, it's a circle shrinking inward, and you have to press it once it gets inward, and then you do more damage. Or sometimes you get attacked and you have to defend like that, and the circle goes outward and you have to press the button. Or you have to hold the thing and release it at a certain time. Fun little mini games that it doesn't necessarily add a ton of extra damage, if it even does. Sometimes it does, it depends on the attack. It doesn't add a ton of extra damage. It's mostly for status effects and other things going on. And it's a fun little mini game to do. And this was it's one of those games where I saw it and was like, this is, I think, something I might really enjoy. And you just kind of take the shot. I did get a review code for this game. But, I was like, yeah, sure, give it to me. I'll play it. And it is incredible. It's definitely for a specific audience that can deal with just reading text for hours at a time and are also interested in strategy combat. You can even rewind the combat at like basically any point. You can just stop it and like, oh no, I messed that up 20 turns ago. Let's go back and unmess that up, which I think is super smart. And it hasn't been too challenging yet. And part of that is I've done it like 2 mock fights. You can just do them at any time. You can replay the other battles, get other equipment, level up your characters with bonus points, which you get for doing certain battles. And I not to go on and on about this game, because I don't think there's much else to say. It's like I said, for very specific person, and that very specific person just happens to be me. I love it. I may be crazy to say it, this year of all years, I think it's probably one of my favorites of the year. I've really enjoyed the story. I love the combat. I mean, these characters are interesting. The plot, as it keeps unfurling, it's not rushing itself. It's just every new plot point's like, oh, so-and-so is here. What are they going to do? Oh, shit, they're doing that? I didn't. Oh, my gosh, what does that mean? But what is that? Oh, no, that person's hurt. And there's all this it's intrigue. The whole thing is intrigue. And I am very, very intrigued by all of it. And I'm not going to try and say the name again. Mask of Truth. But it's pretty good. It only just came out a couple days ago. Great game. I'm going to have a full written review on thegamefanatics.com soonish. I have most of it written. I know it's not the day it came out. We'll deal. We'll deal. Dodge the attack. It's fun. The combat is a lot of fun. It almost there are some negatives of like, I really wish there was more combat. you know, like there are plenty of breaks where it kind of lets you pick what scene to go to next, and you could just choose not to go to any scene and just do battles instead, and you'll level up and all that in these battles, so you can't get stuck. There's no overworld you're going around. It's enjoying the story that you just happen to have power over the combat in. It's great. Freaking great. Watch the bird attack. Come on, bird. Come on, bird, attack. I believe in you. Do it. Do it. Bird. You can see the different squares of effect. Just attack, bird, so I can end. Thank you. Look at the bird. Don't piss off the bird. Golf, setting up the golf. Golfy, golfy, golf. And now to a game I can actually pronounce. All right. I love golf video games. I think Mario Golf Toadstool Tour on the GameCube is one of my favorite GameCube games. It's pretty damn incredible. I love that game, and I've been hearing so much good stuff about Everybody's Golf. Never really played any Hot Shots Golf because they feel like they were missing things. And a lot of those things are stuff that's in Mario Golf. And what we have here is just pure, unadulterated golf. And that sounds stupid, and it is stupid, and it's great. Oh, it's so good. Oh, this is, I mean, I've spent maybe 3 hours on the same 9 holes. That's what he said. And it was good. It was good every time I sunk that ball in that hole. And I gotta stop. But it's so much fun to play this stupid game. It does almost everything right, to the point that my complaints about it are really nitpicky and silly and deal with the kind of just bizarre parts of it. Because at the end of the day, hitting the slider moving forward, hitting it there to do your shot, that's perfect. I wish it played a little more, and this is me, like Mario Golf. There's no super backspin, or maybe there is, and I just don't know how to do it. The game doesn't exactly explain that. Also, it doesn't unlock certain things like that right away. I'm only rank 2 on like the major versus fighting people ranks. So it's early impressions, I guess. The biggest thing to me is the camera controls for this, and not seeing the shot arc. I want that shot arc so bad, but I also want this camera control. It just never feels quite right. In Mario Golf, you could press a button and it would go like bloop to the landing spot right away. In this, I have to manually control it. It never feels quite right. There's no way to rotate the camera in a way that feels what I want to see very well. Also, it has these bizarre children characters that are super weirding me out. The other thing that's apropos of any of that is these characters will run around the course with you. So you'll be playing a tournament and they'll all be teeing off at the same time, like 3 or 4 other people. And then they're just running, they're just booking it to their next shot. And it's so weird. And it's very distracting. When you go to take a shot, they all freeze. So it's not distracting like that. Look at that. That's a good putt. These children are freaking me out. But I'm not a fan of them running around. I'm trying to look at my replay of like a cool chip in I did, and these people are like, huh? And they're just running around the green. And it's not even like real people. It's the AI it's 4 AI characters trying to putt at the same time, all while I'm doing it, and I have to hit the replay button 7 times just to wait for them to leave so I can watch the replay without their dumb faces wiggling around in the shot. So I don't really understand. I understand it. It looks cool, but I kind of wish I could just press a button and turn it off. Oh, that's the other main complaint. I have my minor gripes with everyone's golf written down. There's a button, so when you shoot a shot, you could press a button to like skip to the end, and it just kind of skips the whole drive to the like ending, right? In Mario Golf, you could press a button. I know to bring up Mario Golf again, but you could press a button and it would just like it would zoom through the air really quickly, so you could get to the good part you want to see. Instead, I missed the entire fun of of the arc. I just miss all of that and get to right to the end, which is fine, but I liked having the control of let's zoom this part right here faster forward. And like, oh, okay, I see it's there. Just rush it to the end. Little things like that are like, man, that was so good. Why is this like this? I think there was something major in Mario Golf where you were aiming your shot, right? And if you wanted to aim it a little bit ahead, you'd press the left and right triggers to kind of move the targeting reticle, and it would show you visually where that's going to be. So you could more appropriately aim your shot. And in this, there's not that at all. And that does make it more difficult, and I don't necessarily mind that, but I really liked having that. I loved the surgical accuracy you could get with those games. I'm still working with Everybody's Golf to get the timing 100% down. It's not Mario, I know everything I say in this is not Mario Golf, but that's the closest thing. Let's get one more complaint. The loading times are crazy. Just crazy long. Minutes, it feels like. Maybe 30 to 45 seconds to load a course. And I was like, I'd rather just play with 8-bit graphics. I'm playing a goddamn golf game. I don't need 16,000 characters running around anyway. But once you get into a hole, or once you get into a course, there's no loading time. The good side. The custom characters you can make are incredible. There's so many options. I probably spent a good half hour just making my dumb little anime girl to run around play golf with. It's great. It's great. And there's so many other features too that I haven't even unlocked in the game, like driving a golf cart or fishing is in the game. There's these online tournaments, which I'm really excited to kind of unlock more into and get bonus challenges. You're constantly leveling things up, whether it's clubs, like individual clubs power level or control, or it's what is it? It's backdoor ability, which is just sinking a putt well, like when it circles around. There's that. It's constantly doing that, giving you new outfits or clubs or balls or whatever. Just a ton of new stuff all the time. And to its credit, in a way, it's kind of milking the beginning of the game, and maybe milking the entire game, where it's I played this 9 holes 6-7 times. Now you get the back 9 unlocked. Okay, now I get the back 9. Let's play the back 9 6 or 7 times, it feels like, to unlock the next course, and then we'll do the front 9 of that one, which is not necessarily a problem to me. It does that. You unlock these as that bar goes up. You unlock versus characters, and you'll play a lot of match play against them, or just a normal match. But I like match play. Big fan of that. Big fan of fighting virtual weirdos on a golf course and then unlocking all their silly clothes that I will probably never use, but it's fun to unlock dumb clothes. I think that's how clothes work. There's also something that is a little bit unique, where they have mega cups sizes. That sounds weird. For the holes. And then, so it's a larger hole. And then there's a tornado cup, which is this big hole that's like a sucking in vortex. It does fun things like that in the same way that Mario Golf, again, would do, oh, this grass on the fairway is super slippery grass, so you just gotta deal with it. It's super slippy, so watch out. And that's what I loved about Mario Golf, those weird trick things that weren't bizarre, like, oh, this cactus is moving and swinging all around and being ridiculous. Like, no, it's fairly realistic. It's just faster grass. I haven't seen it do that, but again, I still have one course in this game. Played like 5-something hours of this golf game. One course, one hole, 18 holes. One hole, 18 holes. Someone made that sentence, and it was me. But I really like it. It's one of those, I want something to relax. I'm gonna play a few rounds of golf, and it's pretty good. I think golf games are my secret passion, where I just love golf games. There's something about it. It's easy to learn, hard to master, something like that. I don't know what people say. I was also mentioning, like, each club has these stats to love. You can see them right there. The 4 bars, power, control, backspin, backdoor. It has all those, and you level them all up independently for each club, like for each club type. And that's awesome to be constantly, oh, you did a good drive. Here, you unlocked, this is the best record you have for this hole. And here's, you unlocked more power. So now you hit the ball further with this club. Like, that's awesome. Now it has better control for this club. It's so odd. And it doesn't just end. It's like, oh, here's level 10. Oh, you unlocked it all. You know, level 10 power. I'm like level 15 power on my one wood. And it's still going up. Really enjoy that. It's a great game. Maybe I'll review it. I don't know if I will. Probably not. Probably won't. Probably just a thing I'm going to play very slowly for the rest of the year and very much enjoy it. You got weird caddies. I really want to get the golf carts. I can't get them. I don't know how to get them. People are like, oh, there's a caddy. You gotta beat the caddy to do the thing. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Just give me the goddamn golf cart. I don't know what I'm doing. Jerks. Heard me. That's the show. Merry Christmas. It ended up being, I thought this would be a longer show because of the intro. We had a baked in time, but what I've learned, if I've learned anything from doing this show that no one watches, is that it's better to just end it like in segments. It's better to just end it than to go on and just keep making things up and try to artificially lengthen it for some reason, which is what I'm doing right now. All right. I do this every Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, twitch.tv/thegamefanatics. I think maybe Tyler's going to be streaming Destiny 2 later. That'd be cool. I certainly would like to be playing Destiny 2 on PC. Ha 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 ha. I laugh like a Muppet. Ha 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 ha. Oh, God. Muppets. Tomorrow on my channel, twitch.tv/BenReacts, going to be playing some more Metroid Prime. And the video's ending. What perfect timing. Thanks, Sony. Metroid Prime. Yeah, advertise that one. Sony's going. And then on Monday, Mario Maker Monday. Wednesday, doing a little bit of the Evil Within DLC, which is pretty much over. And then something. Maybe Everybody's Golf on Wednesday. Everybody loves golf, right? I do. Fucking love golf. Are you kidding me? I can watch golf and like just watch it. Just a fun thing to do. I mean, you're not super hyper focused on it because it's golf. It doesn't need that much hyper focus, but it's good. Golf is good. Golf is good. Yeah, golf is good.